This episode I got to record live from Service World 2024 in Orlando, Florida, which was really amazing. But what was even more amazing than that I got to interview two legends in our space, John and Vicki LaPlant. And I'm not going to go into their story because we talk about it during the show, but influence and impact is really kind of the top of mind that comes when I think about getting to talk to them. And what this interview meant to me is really getting to learn more about their journey and all the amazing things that they've done in our space. So let's get started.
Running a home service business is hard. So how is it that some people make it look so easy? Well, we'll tell you. This is the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. It's always good to hear the wins that successful contractors have. But have you ever thought that the best advice would be to hear about the speed bumps they encountered, the mistakes they've made along the way? We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want you to be successful and avoid the mistakes others have made. Let's get this party started. Welcome to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Now your host, Justin Deese.
Podcast. Today is actually a really special event. It's a special broadcast because we're getting to do it live from Service World Expo 2024. And as you can probably hear the background noise, it's all the energy that's happening inside the expo hall. And we're on the podcast stage. And I am joined with John and Vicki LaPlant, who are legends. And I mean legends in our space. So thank you guys so much for joining and hanging out with us today.
Oh, Justin, thank you. We feel honored that you invited us, so thank you. And the energy is so exciting here anyway. It just makes you feel John?
Absolutely. This is fantastic. It's one of the best shows. We've been to a number of them, and it's absolutely gratifying to see the energy, the networking, the helpful information that's being spread throughout this convention.
Well, and so if you don't know who John and Vicki LaPlant are, I'll say this, then you're not part of Service Nation. That's it, right? You guys have made such an impact on the business, and Kristen and I actually got the honor to do a keynote yesterday, and we had a few friends come up and do a panel with us, and your names just kept coming up, right? Just kept coming up. And most of the contractors that are here that have been part of Service Nation have worked with you guys. You guys have changed their life, their business, and it's incredible. So I want to ask you this. How did you guys even get started in the industry?
Well, I guess the best way to explain it was we got fired. We got caught in a downsizing of 21, Century 21, and had the opportunity to do something else. And Vicki was forward enough thinking, given the training that we had and that she had and the contacts that we had in the industry, we started a consulting company.
John and I mean, to give you the full background, we worked for Linux. We both had worked for Linux. In fact, we met there and got married following that. It was a great experience from the standpoint that we got to work directly with contractors, because that's how Linux went to business and went to market. And so then after that, when we were both let go, then we went on and again started our own training and consulting business. And for over 20 years, our life was airplanes, because we were traveling around the U.S. and Canada, working directly with contractors on their business. It was a fantastic, wonderful time of life. And then in 2016, we went to work full-time for Service Nation. We did all of their training, their business training, their operational training, sales training, marketing training. We kind of did it all because we'd had experience with all of it. And those of you that are listening to this, you can't see my hands, but
Well, we hope so. We've got a video crew over here, so we hope that you'll be able to see your hands.
They can see my hands moving. Okay.
And we have a camera over here. Hopefully it's all working, but that's the deal with shooting things live. You just never know.
And I'll add one thing, given all that went on in our lives. One of the real pluses was Vicki and I were well trained by Linux. They gave us all of the information, all the tools that we needed to be successful as consultants.
And a lot of the members of Service Nation we actually had worked with before the alliance was formed, Service Nation Alliance. And so it was fantastic because then when we went to work full time for Service Nation, we got to bring them in with us. And so it was great. And we'll share kind of one personal thing. Somebody asked us the other day, and I thought it was a great question. We're a couple like Justin and Kristen are, in terms of the things that, they work together for a very long time in the same business. And John and I pretty much, except at Lennox, we've always worked together. And somebody said, well, so what was the biggest obstacle to working together? Obviously, it worked because you've done it for over 40 years. But what was the biggest obstacle? And you get to answer that question, John.
Oh boy, that felt like a loaded
there were not
question.
any obstacles at all. I learned to do what I was told.
Oh, gosh, not true.
Good man, I'm gonna follow that advice.
Yeah,
You hear
but
that?
now say the real thing.
Well, I don't know what you want.
Oh, he doesn't know what I want him to say. He would go out and sell a training class we did not have. And guess who had to develop all the training materials? Me. And I'd say, okay, you promised this company we're going to come in and do this training. And when is that to happen? Oh, next week. You can do it by next week, right?
Yeah, I remember coming back off the road and said, do we have anything on risk management?
Oh, gosh,
And
I do too.
Yeah, she goes, risk management? I said, yeah, we've got a session to do coming up here in about a month.
So you see my wife back there. She's like, "Yep, I have done that.
You've
We have
been
lived
there.
that life."
You've been there.
So the term now, and we say this a lot, is build the plane as you fly it. Like that's it.
Kristen, you know.
That is awesome. So now that you got, well, okay, so I'm going to back up for just 1 second, because as I introduced you guys, I forgot, and I know the cameras can't see it and the audience can't see it, but we have Anna back here. Anna, the amazing puppy dog. Well, how old is Anna?
Anna is about 13.
Okay, so
She's a Great Pyrenees, and she goes with us just about wherever
Everywhere.
we go. So it's just not Vicki and I being joined at the hip. Now it's Vicki and I and Anna
Anna.
joined at the hip. And actually, her hips are in better shape than mine are.
That's fantastic. So as you guys have been really helping so many contractors, what are 2 or 3 of the opportunities that you see that are missed on an everyday basis from contractors?
Well, right off the bat, and all you have to do is look around this floor of just all sorts of tools to be put in place in a company. Technology is at the forefront, I think.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
been more change in the last 5 years than the last 50 years in this industry. I got into the industry in 1972, and the focus then, almost 100%, the focus was on the box. It was on the condensing unit, the furnace, it was the mechanical kinds of things. And that's not the case now. Now the focus is on process and the tools to enhance and develop productivity and efficiency in an organization. And I think that has to be embraced. And a lot of companies have a long way to go in terms of implementing some of these tools to create additional value in their business space.
Yeah. Guys, there are so many opportunities. And to follow up on what John said, when we first got in the industry, and my background and my emphasis and what I like to work with contractors on is the financial side of their business. And when I started, and there's a very few people in this room that can remember this. Kristen knows, but it's not because she did it. She's too young. But we did it on these huge books called general ledgers, and we had to do credits and debits and all that stuff. And now, again, just the technology of how you can keep track of your bookkeeping is amazing. But I want you, everyone, whenever you have an opportunity to talk to a vendor of some type, if you're at the show, great. If you're not, just go whatever best practices group you're a part of. Just explore all of the services and the products that they bring to you. Not for the rebates, although that's always nice, but because they will enhance and bring so much to your business. There are so many software adders. There's so much going on in AI alone. One I like to talk about is Rilla. Some people don't like it, and that's fine. Every business is different. But I think Rilla is an amazing technology where you can actually get a transcription of how your technicians are interacting with the customers or how your CSRs are interacting with the customers. And they have so much data. They can actually send them, not during the call, of course, but afterwards, they transcribe it and they say to the tech, hey, you did a good job, but if you'd said this way, we know that 70% of the time when a technician words it this way, they make a sale. So again, we're not saying take advantage. We never, John and I would never ever want any of you to take advantage of a customer or any of your employees to do that. But this is just a way to help them communicate better and communicate in a way and educate in a way that, the customers understand. And then in addition to that, the products you have available, John, talk about some of the SEER and Fleet, Fleet.
Just as
FLIR,
an example,
Seek.
FLIR and Seek thermal imaging.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That can be used by a technician, whether they're heating and air conditioning, electrical and plumbing. And just like Vicki says, to the advantage of the customer, to the advantage of the company to add value, you could take the thermal imaging and do a quick shot of a breaker panel. And if there are hot breakers, you could alert the customer that could be a problem in the future. And if you do electrical, you can change it out or suggest someone that they could call so that they don't go through a painful experience of no lights coming on in a certain part of their house. So there are a lot of things you can do to educate the customer, translated, create a value proposition in favor of yourself, your own professional identity, and your company.
Opportunities. Guys, I can't tell you, Matt Michelle yesterday when he spoke here at Service World Expo, he talked about we're an industry that finally people know about because of, the pandemic. So from that standpoint, maybe it was good for our industry. It made people aware we're critical, we're required, whether on the plumbing, HVAC, or the electrical side. And one of the things that I think that's presented for you as contractors is the opportunity to bring in more of those services to become a full service, home service, company. And there's a lot of opportunities in how you can do that. There's a lot of smaller companies that you could slide into your business. You can start up other divisions. I just think for consumers, we were talking to a company the other day. Now they're a larger company, but they do it all. They do HVAC, plumbing, electrical. They do garage doors and garage door repairs. They do gutter cleaning, guys. So the beauty of that is that it also helps their labor force. They can always, keep their labor force employed in such a way that, they don't have to worry, am I going to have a place to go, a job to go to tomorrow, because they've got such a diversity and they can train them. Somebody I was talking to, they always do dryer vent cleaning. They're making a lot of money on dryer vent cleaning. You don't have to charge that much for it, but it you can at least charge enough to break even to get your technician into the home. And then perhaps they'll see other opportunities like what John was talking about, using some of the great products and tools that are available to you guys.
Well, Vicki, dryer vent fires are a reality of life.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens. And if you can take that out of the equation, for safe living for a homeowner, hallelujah. I'll say one thing that you brought up, the pandemic and the COVID situation. I think that turned the spotlight not only on our industry, but some of the requisites of running a professional company. When I got into this industry, nobody ever talked about culture and leadership.
Yeah.
Now everybody is talking about culture and leadership in an organization. Coming through the 24 months or so of the COVID situation, Matt Michelle was a stellar example of leadership and making sure people remained positive and making sure that people were energized, that things were not going dark, that they were bright as ever. It's kind of a mental disposition. So all of those things together, we've seen heating and air conditioning companies go through transformational changes in terms of leadership. John Maxwell training as an example. walking again around this expo center, there are companies that can help with leadership culture development functions. And that's something that everybody should embrace, but take advantage of.
So what do you guys think is one of the biggest shifts that you've seen in the industry? Like we've talked about technology, leadership. Like what do you think the single biggest shift has been?
I think, well, this is probably more me than maybe the industry, but I really think one of the things that we have observed, because Vicki and I pretty much specialized in the income statement, the balance sheet, and the cash flow statement, and training revolving around those tools. I see far less and less pushback on starting to learn the numbers.
Yeah.
One of the things that we always said is you don't know your business unless you know your numbers. And I see more people saying, yeah, I want that financial information. I want to be able to look at my income statement, my P&L, and know the KPIs and understand what those KPIs are telling me about the direction the company is going. Is it very efficient? Is it productive? Is it creating value for the long term when I will sell this business, if that's the case? So I don't know. I think that people are really being receptive to using the financials as a real positive leverageable in their business.
And Kristen Deese is here, and
there
that's
she is.
one of the things. There she is, and that's one of the things that her company can help you do. So she can help you understand. They can help you understand what it is your numbers are telling you. John always says that your numbers tell a story, but you've got to learn how to listen to that story. Matt said that yesterday, by understanding the numbers. Years ago when I was with Lennox, we had a group of people we would send out to work directly with Lennox dealers. And we started the concept with what we got to help them with is marketing. They got to know how to market and advertise and generate leads. We weren't 12 months into that program and we go, that's great, but you know what our real problem is? They don't understand their numbers. We can get them leads all day, but until they know how to price it, till they know how to deliver customer service, till they know the impact of when they sell that job, the cost of that job, and the overhead associated with that job, it's not going to do them any good. So we quickly had to change our focus to helping them understand the numbers and do the marketing. Those two to me still go hand in hand. So going back to Justin's original question, I will tell you that it's critical. There's a woman here who tells an amazing story. She became part of the Alliance, Service Nation Alliance, and she said, and she'll tell you the story herself, so I'm not telling anything out of school. She was overweight, and she came to the class and she heard Matt talk about the fact that it's hard to fix your business until you've kind of worked on yourself and know yourself. She went back, she lost 179 pounds, and they have their business is sold. They've turned their business around before it was sold. So, guys, it's the same way with your numbers. It's just like you've got to work on the internal. I don't want you totally to focus on it because you can't ever lose sight of that customer and what you're delivering. But you've got to internally understand those numbers and the story that they're telling you in order then to truly give a good focus to your customer. So it's critical you understand your own company. And then, as we've already said, the basics are the same, guys. You focus on your culture, your leadership, but first you got to understand those numbers.
Well, you make a lot of decisions in 12 months in a fiscal year, and whether your fiscal year is a calendar year or it's an offset, it's still 12 months of operations. And you want to make sure that every month you go through that operational sequence of serving your customers and using the skill sets that you developed in your team, that the end result is you're adding value to your business model. That's the key. And people think I'm crazy when I tell them, you can grow revenue in a company, but when you look at the value basis of the company, it actually moves down, that you have not created value by selling more. And so there's a number of things that go into creating value that will ultimately, come to surface when you go through the exit strategy. So, again, it's just not, selling stuff. It's selling stuff and adding value to a business enterprise. So you're going to be rewarded, at the time of sale, just like Brian Cohen said, are you going to be at a 7X on EBITDA or are you going to be at a 10X on EBITDA? Well, that's the value that you're creating in the company that warrants a certain price tag when it comes time to exit.
So to remind everybody of Matt Michelle in his talk yesterday,
Sure.
which was phenomenal, he made the point, everybody's exits your business.
Yeah.
It's either like on your terms or not on your terms, but you're all going to exit. Like that's not
Yeah.
the reality is that's going to happen at some point.
Absolutely.
And even if you're going to be a second generation or third generation, you obviously don't want to burden your children with leaving them a business that is train wrecked.
Yeah.
You want to leave them one that's, prosperous. And we talked about it on the panel yesterday. This business is a whole lot more fun when there's double digits at the bottom line versus single digits. Like that is such a shift,
Yeah.
when you're like trying to dig a sand hole
Yeah.
versus, double digit profit.
Absolutely. And, that's probably, and Justin, I'm glad you said that, because that's also probably one of the changes I think I've seen, particularly in the last 5 or 6 years. And a lot of it has to do with how many baby boomer owners that we have. Our son is he'd be a Gen Y, right?
Gen X.
Gen X, sorry. I always get him mixed up. He's a Gen X. And he keeps saying, when are you baby boomers going to retire? Well, at least in our industry, we are seeing more baby boomers retire either by transferring their business or by, again, selling it. And I think that's good news. There are so many things that you young people out there who are working in businesses, who are beginning to take over the business being transferred from your, perhaps another family member, or you're buying it out from another family member. That's what's exciting, because there are so many, years ahead of you where this industry is just going to get stronger and stronger and much more. It's a critical part of people's lives now, but I think, again, they're more aware of how critical they are. I'm not sure they ever thought, the typical consumer, they didn't think about heating and air conditioning until, like, I'm hot, I'm cold, my plumbing's, not working. And now I think they're aware of us. And one of my hopes is that because more consumers are becoming aware of us as an industry, we're going to have more children and more young people be aware of the fact that you can make 6 figures. You can make over $100,000 in this industry today being a technician. And that is justified, guys. What technicians and what, plumbers do. I mean, it's essential. We know that now. We had to prove it to ourselves, I think. And it's essential, and you deserve to make a lot more than that if you're the owner, because you have all the headaches that go with it. But again,
And the risk.
And the
Yeah,
risk.
headache,
Thank you,
risk,
Justin.
yeah.
All of that. And I sometimes say their soul a little bit too. But guys, it's, and so I think that's another very positive change in going forward, especially with the optimism of youth that you all have. I think that is exciting.
Well, make no mistake about it. The M&A, the merger and acquisition activity, private equity, it's not going away. Right now, today, there is a little over $3 trillion sitting on the sideline waiting to purchase companies. Don't know if that's going to be one of your companies or not, but in the future, someone's going to put the crosshairs on your organization, and you'll go through, just like Matt said, due diligence. And the outcome of that is what's the company values at. And you want to make sure that valuation's as strong as possible.
And that, again, ties into, guys, it's critical. Everybody, just as Justin said, you're all going to exit one way or another. So, people say to us, when should we start planning our exit strategy? And we always say, today. Start planning now. Get your financials in ready. Get your management team ready. Be thinking about who's going to take over. If you're the owner, GM, who's going to be my next GM? And again, guys, we're not saying you have to sell your business. We know, and there's several owners here who we call them, and it's not a bad term, we call them passive owners. What they do is make the profits. They create a wonderful organization. They find a great GM, get that GM trained, pay them quite well, let them run the business, and they can run off, come here to Florida for 6 months when there aren't hurricanes. They can just enjoy the fruits of taking, and enjoying the profits from the business and not have to be as involved in the day-to-day operational side of it. That's another way to exit your business, guys. So, there's so many just fantastic opportunities.
Well, and that's the point of owning a business, right? The point is to not work in it every day, unless that's what you want to do, right? If it's your business, you build it to where you get to do what it is you want to do. So if there's things that you don't like doing, find somebody that's better. Because if you don't like doing it, there's a good chance you're not good at it anyway. Yeah. So you might as well find somebody else to.
Well, and that one strategy that you mentioned, passive ownership, I think it's going to lead to one of the things we see more and more of the future, and that's outsourcing as it impacts our business model. That we can outsource admin functions, we can outsource database cluster management, we can outsource a lot of things. And it's happening right now.
Yeah. And guys, there's so much, again, software out there and so many third-party companies even represented.
Oh my gosh,
here.
and AI.
Yeah. Talk about what Justin,
was last year, like, was there one or two companies that were AI last year? There's ton. I mean, what a fascinating.
Absolutely.
I like learning it. It's a little bit terrifying at times, but it's really cool to watch how it does things better, faster, sometimes stronger than you do it. Yeah. So it's definitely a cool thing. So I want to shift gears real quick. So when I think about you guys, I think about impact and influence, right? And one of the biggest ways you guys have impact and influence, obviously helping business owners really get to the next level and change their life and their business. Another thing is being part of the amazing organization that you guys are part of, which I know is a huge passion project for you guys. Yeah. So for anybody listening, can you tell us a little bit about the Joseph Groh Foundation?
If you don't know what the Joseph Groh Foundation is, it is, for John and I, it's our way of giving back. Everyone that's involved in the heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, home services industries, your company, who you work for, that's how you put the bread and butter on your table for a long time. It's been an industry that has given a lot to everyone in this room and everyone listening to this podcast. So it's our way, and it's a way we can give back as an industry to people in our industry who have had a life-altering accident or illness. That's what the Joseph Groh Foundation does. We help anyone associated with the construction field who's had an accident. And this year, for the first time from this expo, we are going to give back a good chunk of the money we raise here to help people in Florida, the Carolinas, who've been impacted by the last two hurricanes.
Contractors.
Contractors, if I didn't say that. Contractors who have been impacted by that. In fact, there's one contractor here at the show. He showed up at this show, but he lost his home. And
not just damaged, it's gone.
There's a couple that I've talked to here that have, and I'm like, well, that's amazing that you came here. And
I know.
I think part of that was they were like, I just needed, as normal as a trade show can be, right? Like there's a lot going on, but just to get out of it for just a second.
Just to take my mind off it for a little bit. So we're going to, and if you know of someone that might need that help, if you'll come see me, if you're here at the Joseph Groh booth, we'll get them down. But guys, we've helped, the foundation started a man that I had worked with for years. We'd worked together at Lennox. Then when we had all left Lennox, we worked with him when he was with some other companies doing training and facilitating meetings for him. His name is Joseph Groh. We call him Joe. And on Father's Day in 2008, he was riding his bicycle. He hit a rut, threw him over the handlebars, and he's now a quadriplegic. And John says he can do more in a day just from, the only thing he has use of is his head and his neck. And he does more in a day than a lot of people with all four limbs functioning can do in a week. And he truly is amazing. He is an amazing model. And one of his philosophies is, after he knew, because he laid on the ground for about 20 minutes before he was found, he thinks. He doesn't know how long he was unconscious. He knew he was in trouble as soon as he came back to consciousness. But, after he knew help was on the way, he decided, I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. He said, I can't. And he said, I'm going to focus on, rehabbing as much as I can. But then I'm going to, just say, I'm never going to look back. You can't at that point. When you've had that kind of devastation, it's just like these floods. When you've had that kind of devastation, trauma in your life, you can't look back. You've got to look forward. And that's what he has done with this foundation. With the help of us and some other people who were good friends with at the time, the foundation actually became a 501c3 in 2012. And in that period of time, and all of us on the board, it's run by a board of directors, and all of us are volunteers. Everything we do here, all the things we do, we're not paid for it. We don't take any. We take the joy of trying to give back to an industry that has been phenomenal for us. And we have given back to date $1.3 million to people,
Nice.
contractors in our industry.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
Thank
you guys got to clap really loud so they can pick it up on the
Real-
microphone. There you go.
And I mean, we've helped them with every bathrooms. I mean, if you suddenly have become paralyzed, and you don't have to be hurt on the job. We have a number of people. You guys, please be careful when you're on your motorcycles, because we have had a lot of people who we've helped who've had on motorcycle accidents. But
Yeah.
can you imagine? You've been in this traumatic, you've got this whole change in life. Your body is now not functioning like it once did. You come home and you can't even take a shower. We had one man who for 8 months, when he had a family member who would take him out in his yard, they would hose him off with a hose. Can you imagine the loss of dignity in having to do something like that? It just gives me chills. We had a letter recently from a man, a similar situation. We helped him get a bathroom. And by the way, a bathroom remodel to widen the doors, to put in the transfers that they need to get themselves from a wheelchair to a board in the shower, is about $30,000. And now we buy, typically we've got, again, wonderful contractors in the industry who help supply the labor in a lot of situations, and we supply the materials. And that's fantastic. But guys, I can't, and he said, at first, after I was hurt, and I think it's a typical reaction, he said, I didn't want to make any adjustments to my house because it just reminded me of my weakness. And he said, it just upset me. And so he said, but finally, he reached out to the foundation and we helped him put this shower in. And he said, I want you to know, not only physically did you help me, you changed my life. You gave me back my life. Guys, that's the difference you can make. So we appreciate those of you listening. If you're not here at the show, you can go on to Joseph, Joseph, Groh, Groh, foundation.org and make a donation. And we would love that because, again, it doesn't matter whether it's $5 or John would say $100,000.
John's
Or
not going to say
500,000.
Yeah, John's not going to say
$500,000.
$5.
Think big, man.
But guys, we are here to stay. The industry, our foundation, when we started it, we were probably like a lot of you guys. It's this little small company and, a little small foundation, and we'll all help as much as we can. We now know it's here to stay.
Yeah.
We've got the backing, and we've got people, young people coming into it who are going to continue it and keep paying it forward. So, and I probably am more, that is, if there is any legacy John and I can leave in this industry, it will be this foundation, because we know it's going to continue, and it will continue to give back to people. All these amazing young people are coming into this industry.
Watch this turnout.
Okay.
Just like many of your companies, you're going to be doing business planning for 2025. You're either doing it now or you're on the cusp of doing your business plan. Well, at the Joe Groh Foundation, we're doing a business plan too. We're planning for the sustainability of
Yes.
this
Yeah.
foundation. So, it's going to be here 2025, 2035. It's going to be here for the next generation, the generation after that. Because if there's a great need, people will have accidents. Wish they didn't, but people will have accidents or illnesses. And this is the only foundation dedicated to the contracting trades.
Impact and influence. So I have a vision board in my office, and that's the very top of it, impact, influence. And
Yeah.
you guys are absolutely amazing. How much passion you guys have in the project. Obviously, that's why we all want to be a part of it. So you showed a video yesterday, and I've seen the video several times.
Yeah.
And the same with you. It literally, I get chills. But so one of the things Joseph Groh said was never look back, never give up. And what was
Yeah.
the third thing?
Remain positive.
Remain positive.
Yeah.
So I want to say this. When you're having a tough day at the office and there's that employee that you're upset with or that customer you're a little bit upset with, I think Joseph Groh should make a shirt
Yeah.
that says that, and then all the owners
Great
should buy
idea.
it, and then whenever, or hang it or a sign or something.
Yeah.
Because then when you have a bad day, you think back to like a real challenge and opportunity that, I mean,
Yeah.
he has a real challenge and opportunity.
Great idea, Justin. We're going to put you on the board.
That's my wife's job.
Yeah.
That's my wife's
She
job.
just joined, right?
Yeah, Kristen.
All
He
in
just gave
favor.
you more to
Yep,
do.
all hands went up, so she's good.
Well, be sure and come by the CES, the Comprehensive Employment Solutions booth. They always give us a
They've
corner of
supported
their
us
booth
for
for the
years.
foundation. Talk to us.
Yeah.
Bring a blank check. I'll fill it out for you.
He's that giving of a guy. He will
Yeah.
take
Hey,
that burden
if
off
you
your
want to
hand.
know your credit limit, give me the card. We'll max that sucker out, and you'll have all sorts of information to go home and tell your family.
Very cool. So, okay, so we're gonna shift gears a little bit because again, impact and influence you guys have had. So, what is the future? What's the future look like? Right, you guys have been doing this for a very long time. Anna looks very tired. What a sweet. I wish you guys could see this puppy back here. A puppy.
But she's a professional. You know?
She's a pro for sure. So, what does the future look like for you guys?
Probably road trips. Anna
trips?
likes to ride in the car, and so we'll probably take some road trips. We unplug year over year from the industry. It's hard to do.
Yeah, because we love it so much. There's a couple of people sitting in this audience. We more and more over the last few years have given up a lot of our training and other responsibilities. Kim Martin standing back there, she's taken over a whole lot of our training that we used to do on the financial training. I see Jessica Young sitting up here in the front row. She's taken over some of our mentoring and moderating. John and I will continue to be involved with Service Nation on a limited basis. We're going to keep our AB groups. We'll probably continue to do a little bit of virtual training.
We'll do some special projects.
But guys, this, and everybody says, you say this every year, and I know we say it every year, but this really is our last year of doing these big conventions. These are for young people. God, just the walk down the hall is for young people. And next year being in Vegas, I said, you give me my own private.
Yeah, what if we get you a golf cart? Would that-
Well, that may be an option.
Yeah, that's what Tom Peregrino said.
Tom's
He
listening, and he's like, golf cart. Got it.
Yeah, he said, come on, one more year. But guys, this, and we really do. We love you guys. Mentally, we could go on forever, but physically, the body's saying, I don't know. So we love this industry, and it's been interesting. I was afraid when we started backing out, like Matt talked about, when you sell your business, especially those of you that are young, you go, well, at first it sounds wonderful. John says we're going to take a road trip. So, well, we've been doing that for the last 2 or 3 years as we've backed out. And they're wonderful. We have a good time. But there has to still be a purpose in your life. So that's why we've still stayed connected, and we'll always be there. If somebody calls us and they need some help, we're going to be there, guys. My phone number's out there in too many phones, and my email address is out there. Now, John, he doesn't do that. He just sells it and then, turns it over
pass
to
it
me.
on, yeah.
But, we will still be around, but you may not see us in person as often. And I can't, what you guys have given us is more than we could ever give to you. So I can't say enough. The most wonderful people I have ever met in the entire world are associated in, this business. I tell people I meet, and they start talking about big corporations, and I said, yeah, that's all fine and good. But where the backbone of America is, it's in small businesses like what are in this industry.
Yeah.
You employ, I think the last statistic I read, it's like you employ 54% of the employees in the country are employed by small businesses, and that's $20 million or less. So guys, you're what runs the economy in this country. And I never lose sight of that, never lose your pride in that, and never lose it. Make sure your employees know how important what they do is. And because, again, you're the heart, the soul, your ethics, your just everything about the people we've had an opportunity to meet. I don't know. That's why it's been hard to retire, because we'll miss the opportunity to personally get to see you guys, hug you guys. But you understand, it's time.
Absolutely.
Any closing thoughts, John, as we wrap up?
It's been a great ride.
Yeah, it has been. It has been, guys. We can't say thank you enough. It's been truly amazing. And Justin, thank you for having us and letting us kind of have this. I don't know, we might do another podcast or two, but kind of having this, last hurrah, guys.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Again,
Thanks.
The impact and influence has been amazing that you had. So
Thank you.
And thank you all for coming out and hanging out. The plan right now for everybody here is for this to come out Monday. We hope the audio is good and going to come out, but whatever, we're going to kick it out anyway. So
All right.
thank you
Sounds
guys
good.
so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Justin.
What an incredible interview, and so cool, so amazing to hear the crowd cheer for John and Vicki. Just, I don't know, man. I had a hard time, not just in full tears, and honestly, there was a lot of people in the crowd. There was not a lot of dry eyes towards the end of that interview, and if you were one of the ones in the crowd, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. And you know what I'm talking about. Like, that was just so impactful. Those two are they're so incredible. And it's such an honor to know them and to be able to be just connected with them. It's crazy. And so a couple of things that were talked about that I wanted to kind of highlight as far as an episode recap, but right, understanding the importance of technology to enhance productivity. Like, as long as they've been in this industry, they're still saying, embrace the technology. It's coming, it's happening. It's designed to, make your life easier, make your business better, make it more fun. Another thing was, as you will always hear Vicki talk about, is the vital role of knowing your numbers. Like, if you don't know your numbers, how do you manage your business? How do you manage the day-to-day? How do you even know what to do? I think she made a quote about, she quoted John, who said, your numbers are always telling you a story, but you have to listen. And, gosh, that's so true. Like, it does. It tells a story. It paints a picture, but it is your responsibility to pay attention and listen to it. And one of the other big things was John talking about leadership, like what an impact leadership and culture has had on our space over the last few years. And it's so cool to see, our entire industry is really shifting for the better. It's becoming such a fast growing industry. And for a lot of us that have been in this industry for a long time, we know it's a cool industry. We've been in it. We're trying to tell people how cool it is. But now, the rest of the world, I feel like is paying attention, and it's so great. So listen, if you found value in today's episode, there's a couple things I'm going to ask for you to do. The first thing is I need you to go to the Joseph Groh Foundation, make a donation. If it's $5, it's $5. It is an amazing organization that does amazing work in our industry. And I'm just saying, if you're listening to this, you got $5, just go do it. I will put the website to the foundation in the show notes. And I know John would say, Justin, why did you say $5? It should be more. It doesn't matter. Just do something. Just acknowledge the foundation, do whatever you can, and then follow them. And share their story with other people that
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be honest, there's a pretty good chance other people in our industry. And so whoever help share the word of the Joseph Groh Foundation. It's amazing. And the bigger it gets, the more the legacy continues. And that's John and Vicki's passion, is for that to continue for generations to come. And that only happens by you being involved and being there. So listen, that's the first thing. The second thing is I need you to follow or share this episode with whoever your friends are. So just share it with them. Tell them about it. Tell them to come hang out with us. Tell them we're having fun over here at the Freedom Blueprint podcast. But listen, until next time, keep setting those leadership and growth goals and watch your business and leadership transform. This is Justin Deese signing off from Service World Expo 2024 live. So listen, stay motivated, stay committed, and as always, keep crushing it.
You've been listening to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Information is useless if not applied. So take what you've learned and go and implement it. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on social media at Freedom Blueprint for Home Services and hit the website at www.freedomblueprintpodcast.com. See you next time.